Severed's world is strange, beautiful, and largely remains a mystery by the end. This first-person touchscreen action game isn't big on its story, which would be fine if its combat didn't lose its appeal halfway through the 6-hour campaign. In a grim and bizarre setup, Sasha finds herself in another world after her family is murdered and is tasked by a toothy monster to find their corpses before they're eaten. There isn't much more to it than her going out and doing that, but its simplicity is fine as the focus is more on Sasha coping with the death of her family. It's a shame that in order to appreciate Severed's great temple design, I had to continuously remind myself to look at the center of the screen. The first-person perspective and the non-fluid transition between rooms makes it difficult to focus on the world. I mostly watch the mini-map to find which direction I need to go. Not exactly the most fun way to play a game. Severed becomes more challenging as you encounter new and more enemies in a single battle. Taking the Fruit Ninja style manic slashing approach in combat has significant repercussions in most situations. Instead, Severed requires you to swipe strategically. Enemies do a ton of damage, so blocking their attacks is key to surviving fights. Managing the new attack patterns and defenses can be hard at first, but it is easy and fun to learn. Battles usually last a minute or two, and Severed is better off that way. Eventually, Sasha gains a cool ability to steal status effects from enemies, though due to its high mana cost, you can only use it once or twice a battle. Fighting several monsters with multiple buffs, such as high attack and health regeneration, is annoying and drags out the fight. That's a big problem, because longer fights are both tedious and physically difficult to play. Having to constantly swipe is tiring, and later in the game I actually had to take short breaks because of the discomfort from furiously ripping the Vita screen. It's a shame that Severed leans so heavily on buffs to make fights more difficult instead of using its untapped strengths, traps, environmental dangers, and enemy variety. Most of the late game enemies are variations on earlier ones, but they still introduce new tactics that make them feel refreshed. Pair those with crystal rooms that blind Sasha or poison chambers and you have a fun challenge. Those felt played down as the buffs stole the focus of late game battles, and so Severed ends on a low note. For more on Severed and other Vita games, keep it on IGN.